Welcome to the deep dive. Ever sort of stop and wonder why some people, maybe not earning a ton, still end up wealthy, while others, pulling in big salaries, seem constantly stressed about money?
Yeah, it's a real puzzle sometimes.
It's this fascinating financial paradox, right?
Mm.
And today, we're diving deep into The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
Great book.
Yeah, really is. And our mission here, it's not about spreadsheets or complex formulas.
No.
It's about getting into our behavior, our mindset around money, to unlock some really profound insights.
Absolutely.
Think of this deep dive as your shortcut, really, to understanding something that affects all of us. It's packed with surprising facts, engaging conversation, all tailored for you. So let's talk about the book itself first. The Psychology of Money. Came out in 2020.
That's right, 2020.
And it just took off, became a massive bestseller really fast.
It really resonated with people.
And the author, Morgan Housel, he's a financial writer, partner at Collaborative Fund. But what makes his work stand out, I think, is that he focuses less on traditional investment advice.
Right.
And really zeroes in on how people behave with money. Human nature, basically.
Yeah, and it's so refreshing because he totally avoids those, boring financial formulas.
Exactly.
Instead, he uses these short, really simple stories. They're powerful, though. They really shine a light on our psychological connection to money. His main idea, the core thesis, is that making good financial decisions, it's not really about being a math whiz.
Right.
Or even just being lucky. It mostly comes down to your mindset and your behavior.
Okay, so mindset and behavior over math.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, what does that actually mean for, our everyday choices with money?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
Because it pushes back against so much of the usual advice, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Let's dig into some of the book's main themes. Housel's is just brilliant at using stories to make these big ideas feel, really accessible.
He really is.
So first up, this concept he calls "no one's crazy."
Yeah.
That's a good one.
His point is basically that the way you handle money makes perfect sense to you based on your life, your experiences. But to someone else, it might look completely, crazy. And the reverse is true, too.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because our personal histories really do create these unique lenses for viewing money.
Totally.
Think about someone who lived through the Great Depression.
Okay.
They might just avoid stocks forever,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good the market looks. It feels inherently unsafe to them.
Right, based on that deep experience.
Exactly. But then you take someone who maybe grew up during a tech boom.
Yeah.
They might be totally comfortable, even eager to jump into risky startups. It's a completely different frame of reference for risk and reward.
Wow. So our backgrounds really dictate our financial normal.
Absolutely. It really makes you question the idea of one-size-fits-all financial advice.
Yeah, that's a huge takeaway. So the lesson for you listening is, maybe. Don't be too quick to judge other people's money choices. Their background story really matters. Empathy goes a long way there.
Okay, so building on that idea of personal context, Hauser makes another really key distinction. It's between getting wealthy and staying wealthy.
Oh, yeah, this is crucial.
He says, making money often takes optimism, taking some risks,
Sure, got to put yourself out there.
but keeping it. Staying wealthy, that's different. It needs humility, maybe a bit of paranoia even, and definitely frugality.
It really connects to this bigger idea of endurance, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, think about someone like Warren Buffett.
Okay.
His real genius wasn't just picking winners, though he did that. It was surviving every downturn, staying wealthy long enough
To let compounding do its thing.
Exactly. He just stayed in the game. Humility means you know you can be wrong, paranoia keeps you ready for shocks, and frugality gives you the buffer to ride them out.
So it's less about the home runs and more about not striking out.
Kind of, yeah. It's
Yeah.
about building habits that focus on preserving what you have, not just chasing the next big thing. Resilience.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a long game.
It is.
Which actually leads perfectly into the next big theme, the power of time and compounding.
The magic ingredient.
Right. Housel really hammers this home. Time is probably your most powerful financial asset, and we almost always underestimate it. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Well, yeah, look at Buffett again. We talk about his skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his real secret weapon, it was time. He started investing as, a teenager?
Yeah, super young.
And something like 99% of his net worth came after age 50.
99%. Wow.
Yeah. It's all down to compound interest, earning returns on your returns. It just snowballs, but it needs decades.
Mm.
It really makes you ask, are we truly appreciating the, exponential power of just being patient?
That's just staggering when you put it like that.
Yeah.
So the message is crystal clear for anyone listening. Start early if you can. Stay invested consistently.
Right.
And just focus on staying in the game as long as possible. Let time work for you.
That's the core of it.
Okay, another theme Housel explores, which is maybe a bit less comfortable, is luck and risk.
Yeah, this one's important for perspective.
He talks about how success and failure, they often involve a pretty big dose of luck and risk. Things that are, kind of outside our direct control.
And he gives that great example of Bill Gates.
Oh, right. The computer access.
Exactly. Having access to a school computer back then in high school, that was incredibly rare, almost unheard of.
A huge advantage.
A massive one. Now, it doesn't take away from Gates's skill or drive, obviously.
No, of course not.
But it highlights that success is almost never just about individual skill or effort. Circumstance, luck, they play a big role. It's a good check on thinking everything is pure meritocracy.
That's such a vital point.
Yeah.
So the lesson for us maybe is be careful about admiring the wealthy too blindly or judging people who are struggling too harshly. There's often more to the story.
Absolutely. Little humility about fortune, good or bad.
And then there's the theme that I think really resonates with a lot of people, maybe the most powerful one. Freedom, true wealth.
Ah, yes. This is huge.
Housel argues, pretty convincingly I think, that having control over your time, being able to choose what you do when you do it, that's way more valuable than just a big income or spending lots of money.
Yeah, it's about autonomy.
That's the real wealth.
Exactly. Being able to wake up and say, what do I want to do today? Not just what you have to do. That kind of control, that freedom, Housel says it's a currency more valuable than money itself. It really forces you to question your priorities, doesn't it?
It really does.
Are you working just for a bigger paycheck, maybe to buy more stuff?
Yeah.
Or are you actually using money as a tool to build a life where your time is your own?
That's a powerful reframing.
It is.
So the ultimate lesson there seems to be, aim your finances towards buying freedom, independence, not just acquiring things. Build a life you control.
That's beautifully put.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about the style of the book, because that's a big part of why it's so popular, right?
Oh, definitely.
Housel's language is just, it's simple. It's direct. Makes it super accessible, even if you have, zero background in finance.
Absolutely. And it's so story-driven. That's key.
Yeah.
Every chapter is packed with these real stories, athletes going broke or that janitor who secretly became a millionaire. These stories make the concepts stick in your head.
They make it memorable.
And there's no jargon. It honestly feels like you're just having a chat with a really smart friend who gets this stuff.
Right, not like reading a textbook.
Not at all. Very conversational.
Okay, but for balance, we should probably touch on criticisms, too.
Sure, fair enough.
It's definitely not a how-to book, is it? If you're looking for, specific budgeting steps
Nope.
or detailed tax strategies or which stocks to pick.
You won't find that here. It's not that kind of book.
Right.
And some might say it gets a bit repetitive on certain themes, like patience and humility come up quite a bit.
Yeah, he revisits those core ideas often.
Yeah, he does, maybe from slightly different angles. So you have to understand it's really more philosophy than finance.
And a philosophy of money, yeah.
Exactly. So if you want those specific investment tactics, you'll need to look somewhere else.
Okay, so summing that up, who is this book really for? What does this all mean for you, the listener?
Good question.
Well, I'd say, first off, anyone who feels stressed or maybe a bit lost about money, if you want a healthier, more long-term way of thinking about it.
Definitely. It can really calm those anxieties.
Second, young people, especially if you're just starting out on your financial journey.
Oh, absolutely. Read it early.
The concepts here could genuinely set you up for life, change your whole approach. And honestly, even if you're an experienced investor, it's still valuable. It's such a good reminder that behavior, temperament, patience, they matter just as much as skill. Maybe more sometimes.
It's a great grounding read, even for experts.
So if we boil down this whole deep dive, what are the absolute core takeaways for you? I think maybe 3 main things stand out for me.
Okay.
1, your behavior with money counts way more than how much you earn. Your habits, your reactions.
Crucial.
2, patience. Seriously, let that compound interest do its slow, steady magic over time. Don't interrupt it.
Time is your friend.
And 3, measure your wealth by your freedom. How much control do you have over your time? That's the real benchmark, not just dollars or fancy stuff.
Those are spot on. And building on that, maybe some concrete steps people could think about today, inspired by Household.
Yeah, what could someone actually do?
Well, first, maybe just take a moment, review your goals. Ask yourself, is my money actually working to buy me more freedom, more autonomy,
Yeah.
or is it just going towards more things?
A quick self-audit. Good idea.
Yeah. And second, maybe consider this. Make one small automatic investment just regularly into something simple, like a broad market index fund.
Like a basket of the whole market.
Exactly. Diversified, low cost, and then plan to just hold it for decades. Think of it as practicing patience in a really tangible way. Let it compound.
Simple, actionable. I like that. Okay, well, that wraps up our deep dive into the psychology of money.
It's been great chatting about it.
Morgan Housel really gives us this profound reminder, doesn't he? Personal finance, it isn't really a math test.
No.
It's more like this lifelong game of habits and humility and definitely patience.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
If controlling your time really is the ultimate form of wealth, how might taking a hard look at your financial habits right now? How could that fundamentally reshape your freedom in the years and decades ahead?
That's a powerful question to ponder. We really encourage you to think about which part of this deep dive resonated most with you and how it might just change the way you approach money from here on out.